Welcome to another episode of the SandnesGarn podcast. This is episode, I believe, 122, I think. I looked a couple days ago when I was about to film the podcast, and then some stuff came up and I couldn't film the podcast, and I forgot to look again this morning. So I think it's 122. It could be 123. I think it's 122. Anyway, doesn't really matter. We're getting close to 125 episodes, which is really kind of awesome, because if you do go back and watch from the beginning, I'm not saying that you should, because it's probably a little rough, to be perfectly honest. Suri is playing with a piece of dirt, I think. Anyway, where was I? I was in the middle of doing our opener and I got very sidetracked. So hello, welcome to the podcast. My name is Sharon, and I am the owner of the SandnesGarn, which is the yarn shop that I'm sitting in here in Montgomery, Texas. And like I said, welcome. We're happy to have you join us. Hopefully you're a returning viewer, and if you're not, welcome for the first time. I hope you enjoy the podcast. So what I was kind of going on that tangent was, it wasn't the first episode, but I think fairly after at least I think maybe the first 5 episodes, I started filming not too far off from this location. So back then when I was filming the podcast, when I first started, I was filming at our checkout counter, and the store was only half as big as it is right now, because we only had it's a weird building. Technically we have 4 units that are rentable, 2 on one side, 2 on the other, and then we busted through the walls to make it 4, if you will. But anyway, we only had 2 on the left side when we first started, and so I filmed at the checkout counter because it was really about the only space we had. And then when we eventually got a table that we put where I'm basically sitting right now, and that's what we used for classes way back in the day, I would also set up and film the podcast. Pretty much, I would be a little bit that way and a little bit that way, but pretty much the same location. So it's kind of a little nostalgic for me, actually, to come back filming here from this location. I filmed it a couple episodes ago. I had a different chair, and I hadn't put 2 and 2 together. This is kind of the semi-OG spot for the podcast. So anyway, waxing nostalgic. Welcome, and grab a beverage. I have an iced coffee this morning because it's blazing hot, and hopefully you guys, I have the microphone positioned in such a way that you just hear me. We do have painters here this morning. They're painting the outside of our front doors. We technically have 2 front doors because we have 2 buildings. Anyway, I digress. So they're making some noise, and they're like sanding and scraping some stuff, and so hopefully it does not come through on the podcast. If you're watching this, it clearly isn't enough, or we can edit it out. So yay. And if you're not watching this, you don't know that you're not watching it, so it's fine. So grab your beverage of choice. It is 8:59 in the morning, so iced coffee all the way for me. And yes, I have a cat Yeti. I found this at Target ages ago. It's cats and plants. How perfect. Although I can't keep plants alive very well, which is sad because I want more plants in our house. Any gardening tips? Not gardening tips, because outside gardens don't work for us, but indoor plant recommendations that are cat safe. That's what you can engage with me today on YouTube. Give me all your plant recommendations that are cat safe and that are easy and very low chance of me killing them or the cat just eating them to death, because that happened one time. Luckily it was a non-poisonous plant to cats, but he just like chewed on it and chewed on it and chewed on it till the poor thing was like, I'm giving up. So anyway, let's actually do what the podcast is about, which is knitting and crochet content. So I don't even know where to start. I should start with finished objects because that's what I always start with, and I feel like I have something on my face. Hopefully not. Finished objects. So I did finish something, which I'm very pleased with. I finished my field shawl by Maxim. Ta-da! It is quite large. Ta-da! Yay! It's so cozy. Oh, this is gonna be my absolute favorite fall, winter, cozy wrap this fall. Oh. So I used Les Garcons, the British DK, which you can see right there. I used the colorways Moiras Black Rose and Cardis Occchre, however they can get it to say. But yes, those are the two colorways I used. 2 skeins of each. I basically went, so technically there should be 2 more pattern repeats in the middle. Well, technically there should be 4 because before you start decreasing. I was getting really nervous about playing yarn chicken, so I cut mine down to sections, and I had plenty of yarn. I probably could have only removed quote unquote 1 section and been fine. It still had enough yarn, but I just wanted to play it a little bit on the safe side this time, and it's plenty big enough for me. I love the size. So it just took 2 skeins of each color for this. So if you don't want to buy a third of each color, because to be perfectly honest, I think if you do a third, you're only going to use like this much, if anything. So I would say, unless you just, you want extra large, you could easily, because of how the pattern is written, make this larger and add additional repeats to use up more of the third skein if you wanted to do that. Or just be mindful and watch your yarn quantity and weigh your yarn so that you know like how much yarn you've used for these little stripes as you go along, to make sure this color you have enough to complete those stripes on the other side. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Anyway, this is a great pattern. It was basically, I'll say, my early summer mindless knit, because it is just garter. This was a lot of road trip knitting. This was a lot of social knitting for me. It is a very simple, easily memorizable pattern because it is mostly just basic garter stitch with a little I-cord border. And it's all knit as you go, so you don't have to like go back and pick up an I-cord or anything like that. It's all done as you go. And I think it's going to be super wearable, cozy, snuggly, just amazing. I love it. So again, it's the Field Shawl by Maxim, Max the Knitter, and I really do love the I'll say the contrast of doing half of it, in one color, half the other, basically, that juxtaposition. The other way he wrote the pattern, so I mean it's one pattern, but you can do it in DK all the way like I did, or in one of his samples he did half Suri, half Suri and half DK, or I think he did some hand spun of his own that was about a DK weight. But you could easily adapt this to, I think, pretty much any weight of yarn. Just adjust your needle size, and then again you may want to add or remove sections, just depending on the size that you want. And then you could do different textural yarns. I think it would be awesome done in a Suri and then, a rustic yarn. I'll say rustic. It's a is it non-superwash or is it superwash? Just blanked. It's non-superwash. That's what I thought. I just doubted myself for a second. But you could do like a skein or 2 skeins of Suri, and then 1 or 2 skeins of DK, like Scout or like Garcon, something like that. You could use superwash yarn. There'd be no problem in that. You could do that. You could also do sport weight easily. You could do a textural yarn, like you can't really see it up there, but the Cozy DK from Chelsea Luxe, we have some of that. You could also do a tweed yarn, like hedgehog fiber tweed. We're very, very low. We do have some tweeds from Moondrake at the moment, and I'm working on getting more hedgehog tweedy, so stay tuned. And that being said, if you want hedgehog tweedy, like seriously, you would buy it if it came in, not just, oh, I'd love to have some, but if you're committed, send me an email or an Instagram message, and I will put you on the list so that when it does come in, I will go ahead and send you an invoice for the amount that you're looking for. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, and obviously let me know how many skeins you want, preferably. Or if you want to get it for like a pattern, hey, I want to make Winter's Beach Cardis in this size, just send me the amount. Okay, we got you. So yeah. Or if you want to do this in Tweety, like, yeah, that would be freaking awesome. Okay, so moving on. I love it. Okay, and of course, that would be a fun and fairly quick knit if you're, semi-monogamous, to get done for DFW. If you want to come meet the boys. Les Garcons, Max and Vincent will be at our booth at DFW, which I'm so excited about. So definitely come to DFW on Friday. Check it out. We will have the whole complement of all the colors of of British DK and of their BFL sock, which I am loving. You're going to see here in a moment as well. So we will have that in our booth. Along with some other really unique surprises, which I'm super jazzed about. So definitely mark your calendars because DFW is where it's going to be released in all of its glory. Excuse me. And it's going to be awesome. I'm so excited. DFW is going to be a blast. Okay, who are we going to see at DFW? That is not what I need to show. Okay, moving on to whips, because that's my only FO. Oh, this is getting closer. As I showed you last time on the podcast, I am test knitting also for Max, because we're, BFFs now. Actually, I talk to Vincent more than I do Max. It cracks me up sometimes. So Vincent and I are BFFs. But this is the Interference sweater by Max. Ta-da! So I have a good chunk of the body done. I actually have, I think, 1 more inch to do before starting the next chart. I hope you can't hear them. They're making a lot of noise. I do have 1 sleeve all the way done, which is great. I do need to go back and pick up the other sleeve. But yes, it's coming along really nicely. I should have this hopefully done by the next podcast. So, because I will have next week scheduled good knitting time. So, we have to be on the road for a little bit. And I can bust out some good knitting when I'm on the road. Obviously, I'm not the one driving. Don't knit and drive. Although I know a lot of you guys knit at red lights, which you do you, boo. But anyway, the yarn that I'm using is SandnesGarn Double Sunday in the colorways Whipped Cream, Cardamom, no, it's not Cardamom, Camel, and Sailor in the Dark. If you are wanting these exact colors, please send me a message. I am working to get a restock of these exact colors in sweater quantities. I do currently have the caramel, but I know I think I may be out now. Yeah, I am. Of the whipped cream and the Sailor in the Dark. So I am working on getting these colors restocked. So if you are interested in sweater quantities of any of these colors, whether it's for interference or for something else, let me know, and I will get you on our wait list. So FYI, that is something we do for SandnesGarn pretty much anytime, because the way we can get it in, because it's from Norway, we have to wait for big boats from Norway. So if there's ever a colorway that we're out of in the Sunday, the double Sunday, the 10 silk, the Lenny, any of those that you're desperately wanting, but we're out of stock, just send us a message, and we can either see if it is available for us to get to you right away, or if it's on the next boat. Either way, we'll get you on our list, and let you know the minute it's arrived. We can send you an invoice, all that stuff. So that is something we do for SandnesGarn because it's a little bit unique in how we can order it. We don't really do that for pretty much any of the other brands because most of them are hand dyed and it doesn't work that way. But for SandnesGarn, we can definitely make that work. Pretty much most of the commercial yarns we can do a wait list. Some are a little bit different than others, but SandnesGarn is the easiest by far to get on the wait list. But anyway, I'm digressing. So again, SandnesGarn, double Sunday. I'm loving it. It's going to be such a great fall sweater. This is actually the back. But, ta-da! Very simple color work too. If you're a little intimidated by color work, don't let this intimidate you at all. It's very simple. There's no more than, I think, a 7-stitch float. Most of it is 1 and 2 stitch floats, and you're never working more than the 2 colors in a row. So there's no 3-color color work. I would say on average you're about 2 to 3 stitches for your carries, so very beginner friendly. Even though it looks intense, it's actually very beginner friendly color work pattern. So I highly recommend it. Okay, so that's whip 1. Let's see. Okay, whip 2. So this is the other Le Garcon yarn that we are bringing in. You guys, it is so perfect. This is their this is their BFL sock. This is what they call it, BFL sock. So if you look at that, you can see it's a really nice, it's a fingering weight yarn, obviously, but it has this beautiful twist on it. And it's a very round yarn. I'm adoring it right now. And it is a superwash, and it does have nylon. I believe it's 80/20, superwash BFL and nylon. And it is very soft. I mean, it's not merino. It's not. But for a BFL, it's very soft. And it's working up stunningly. So I am knitting another dotted rays because apparently that is the one pattern that I will knit multiples of. This is actually number 4, shockingly enough. So this is dotted rays and by Stephen West. You can see I'm on a short needle because I haven't bothered to change needles, so it's not going to open up very much. Ta-da! Now it's looking kind of gray on camera, but I assure you that's not the color. It's called Lauriannes Sage Advice. You can see it a little bit better here. It's the softness of a mint, but not bright. So it's soft and sagey, like smoky sagey. I love it. So Lauriannes Sage Advice. We will again have this plenty of stock at DFW. And this is I'm going to do just the 2 skein version of the dotted rays here. So it'll be still a nice size. I think I have 2 more wedges left. And it'll be a good size. But it doesn't really take but 2 skeins if you're doing just the 1 color version. Dotted Rays by Stephen West, there's a million different versions. So there's the original, there's the seed stitch version, which that I'm not doing. Just me and seed stitch, not the best of friends. Then you've got the faded dotted rays, which I've done that. I've done also then the faded dotted rays with the chevron border, which is another version. That might be it. But yeah, I'm doing this one. I've done the regular with the fade, which is basically this one, but just fading it. And then I've done the chevron border. So I guess I've only done 3. Yeah. But you can also do them in different weights. So we've had several people in here follow along this pattern exactly, but do it in DK or worsted weight with or without a fade. And just stop when it's large enough for them. Doesn't necessarily have to go all the way to the large size. Some of them stop at the size small. But, yeah, it's gorgeous, and it's very adaptable. And it's like kind of a potato chip knit. So, again, this has been another one of my summer just kind of mindless knits, because once you get in the rhythm, it goes pretty mindless because it's garter stitch. Yes, it's short rows, but you're not picking up any short rows or anything like that. So, it's another one of those great, you want something besides just plain boring knitting, but you don't want it to be too thought-provoking. I think dotted race is a great option. It's still a good social knit, all the things. So that is whip number 2. I did not bring that whip with me. Okay. I have other whips, obviously, that I have forgotten to bring, but this one y'all haven't seen before. So it is Rhinebeck in that time of year, where we're all thinking about Rhinebeck, dreaming about Rhinebeck. But guess what? We have a surprise for you. We are doing Texas Rhinebeck. Ta-da! Big announcement. So Texas Rhinebeck is going to be taking place over Rhinebeck weekend here in the shop, and now they are deciding to do a leaf blower outside. Anyway, we are doing Texas Rhinebeck, y'all, and it is going to take place the Friday and Saturday, which is the 20th and 21st, I believe. Yes, of October. Details are going to be on our website. You can go ahead and find them out there under events. But we have a teacher coming in, Lesley Ann Robinson, Knit Graffiti, who is coming in to teach 2 different classes on brioche and launching one of her new designs, which one of those, that it's unnamed yet, but that design will be the afternoon class, teaching you how to do and casting on that shawl, which is using red stag fiber. And then the morning class is a 2-color brioche flat workshop. And then Friday afternoon from 4 to 6 is a meet and greet with Lesley. If you have her book or any of her patterns, you can bring them with you and she will sign them. Otherwise, it is basically a fun meet and greet. There will be a light charcuterie board and drinks provided. And it's a time to chat with Lesley, have her help you pick out colors. She's great with color theory and all of that sort of stuff. It's not a class, so don't be like bombarding her with like brioche questions necessarily, but just learn more about her patterns, her inspiration. We'll have some printed patterns for you to go over, maybe pick out yarn for some of those patterns. And she does other than brioche as well. So if you're like, I'm not ready to take brioche, but maybe I want to come to this meet and greet, be a great way to, talk to her, get some of her other designs, and pick out some beautiful yarn for some of those other beautiful shawl designs that she has that don't have brioche as well. Seating is limited for the classes and also for the meet and greet, so tickets are on the website, and you do need to pre-purchase your tickets in advance for any of those events. So, side segue into that, Lesley Ann Robinson just so happens to be Andrea Mowry's sister-in-law. So, for those of you that don't know that, that's kind of why I ended up segueing into this. Anyway, it really has nothing to do with it. But I cast on the Tessellated vest. You guys, it's so cute. Okay, so I know me, and this does look terribly small, but trust me, it's not. I've put it on Scooby-Doo's, and it's got a lot of stretch to it. So the 27 stitch gauge that she calls for on her pattern, I cannot get that in sport weight. I just can't. The fabric would stand up on its own and be icky. So I know for me that's a good thing. I can get that with fingering weight. So I am using Dachas sock from Red Stag Fibre in the colorway Antique Leather, and then Mologan for the little squares inside, and then the Suri is Forged Steel. Let me grab these. So these are my colors. So main body, the Suri, and then what would have been my spin cycle color is just going to be the simple kind of gray taupe Mologan colorway. So right now, just plugging away on the body, and yeah, I'm loving it. I love the idea of a vest. I love vests. I think they're super wearable, especially for our climate and our weather. And yes, I did a different waistband than what she called for. I did a fold over just because I was not happy with any of the tubulars, so I just did a fold over brim. But yeah, so those are all my whips that I brought with me. Obviously I have more. What are you doing, girl? Weirdo. And yeah, so those are all my whips. What else? Oh, restocks. So we got these in a couple weeks ago, but I don't think I shared them. We restocked some Lenny colorways, so if you were looking for last minute summer tops, this is a great time to grab those. We restocked quite a few colors, but just a little handful of some of our most popular ones. The beige is back in stock. A lot of the blues and a lot of the greens are back in stock. Blue Hortensia is always popular, and it's back in stock. They've moved on to this store now. So we're going to be wrapping it up shortly. Jelly bean green and orange tiger. But like I said, we have other colors. We have purples, we have browns, we have blacks, pinks. All the colors are stocked up in Lynn. This is really annoying. But like I said, we're going to wrap it up. Oh, I also forgot blue turquoise. Love this one. We also got in Mad Tosh. And if you were looking for the colorways that I did my Petite Picot in, we have restocked these. So this is Rocinante for the main color, and then Neon Peach. So if you want to do that, you need 2 skeins of Rocinante and 1 skein of Neon Peach. But we have other colors available as well. Arctic got restocked, Whiskey Barrel, Glazed Pecan, all of your favorite Mad Tosh colors got restocked. And this is all on the Twist Light, which is a 75-25 superwash merino and 25% nylon. What's the yardage on this? I always forget. 420. So nice yardage. So Mad Tosh, and it's all shoppable on the website. You can definitely go grab that ASAP. We also got some restocks of Red Stag Fibre. Move this around. In some colors we haven't had in a little while. And the new colors, which unfortunately Compton Bay is already sold out. This is Compton Bay. So I only have the swatch to show you, but hopefully we will get some more of that in. And exactly when, I'm not sure, because he is backed up. This is Highland Scotch. And this is Hebrides. Those are the other 2 new colors. Then some other colors we got Vibrant Sky back, We haven't had Vibrant Sky in a while. We also got Dragon Slayer. We got others as well, but I'm just showing you some variegateds we haven't had in a while. And we have Velvet Tapestry. Now, Velvet Tapestry is one of my favorites because it will kind of micro stripe on you, especially for socks, which is super cool. So, those are available and on the website now. And lastly, before I go crazy with them pounding, we have a restock of our try-on cords. So in this package, you get one 60-inch cord and two 30-inch cords for sleeves. And we restocked all of our colors. So we have gray. This is green. It's bright green. Pink. We call this one neon green because it's not really yellow, but it's also kind of chartreusey. We have orange, the royal blue. I think we just call it blue. This is lavender, tan, and then turquoise. So we have all these available on the website. It's $5.50 for the bag, and you can grab those. Those are really, really helpful, not just for sweater knitting, but separating for sleeves. But anytime you need to put stitches on hold, it just makes it so much easier in the long run to slide them off onto the cord and then attach it back to your needle and slide it back on when you're needing to put those stitches and rework them. So things like Stephen West's Mystery Knit Along, they come in handy because a lot of times you're going to put stitches on hold. Even for socks, a lot of people are doing them when you put stitches on hold, maybe for like heel flaps and gussets and whatnots. Anytime you've got some modular knitting that you need to put stitches on hold or provisional cast on, there's a great YouTube or Instagram video right now going around of doing a provisional cast on around the Scooby-Doo or the try-on cord, and it's super cool. And that's actually what I did with the Tessellated vest, and it worked out really, really handy because then when I was ready to knit them together, I just slid it onto a new needle, boom, bada bing, it's done. So I'm going to wrap it up because they're getting progressively noisier and I need to ship some orders and get some other stuff done today. So thanks so much for tuning in. Please give us a follow and subscribe if you haven't already. You can also get the little bell, hit the bell to get notifications of new episodes when they come up. And I am working very hard on getting back into our every 2-week filming. So stay tuned for more episodes coming up very soon. And we'll chat with you later. Happy knitting, folks. Don't forget to give me some plant recommendations. And if you're coming to DFW. Bye, guys.